Classic. Hello, if you're just joining us on YouTube, I'll be right there. All right. Let me see if I got this here. All right. That looks good. That looks good. All right. Hello, welcome to the Lion's Den. My name is Robert Love. I'm a neuroscientist. I specialize in helping people prevent Alzheimer's disease with science. This is the Lion's Den, where you, evolving lions, come to support each other, to love each other, and to learn about neuroscience, health, and wellness, and to have some fun together. So if you're just arriving, please put your first name and where you're from in the chat. If you are an evolving lion or you want to be an evolving lion, give me a roar. If you ask a question tonight, please include your first name so that way I can talk to you. Hi, Francesca. Well, hello, Wiesnook. Sausage and ice cream. I'm live and you need to ask me something. Great. Well, include your first name. I'd love to answer you. Hi, Nathan. I love you too. Oh, thank you for the hat. Well, hello, hair by Margie. Hello, Kim from Montana. Hello, Dan from Wisconsin. Tiffany from Colorado. We got Margie. And then those of you on YouTube, please put your names in as well. We got Roar, Rebecca from Florida. Roar to you, Rebecca. We got Lisa from Utah, Dana from Toronto, Debbie from Wyoming, Maria from Puerto Rico. We got Bridget from Philadelphia. We got Tammy from Kentucky, Trammell from Louisiana, or Los Angeles. I don't know what LA stands for. We got Kim from Mexico. Roar to you, Kim. Roar S. Bankar. Kathy from Alabama. We got New Jersey. Well, hello, Stacy from Long Island. Roar. Thank you, Margie. We got Jessica. We got Kathy. I'm taking care of someone beginning with Alzheimer's disease. Please help. Kathy, you're in the right place. I would love to be of help. We will definitely get to that. Shelly from Illinois. Jenny from Illinois. We got Nikki from Ohio. We got Ron L. Ron L. Excellent. We got Roar. Rebecca from Florida. Roar to you. We got Lisa from Utah. Roar, Kathy. We got Gina from Los Angeles, California. We got Joe, Ohio. Roar to you, Joe. Francesca, still find about antidepressants and Alzheimer's disease. That is a complex question. We can certainly talk about that. Jessica from Miami. I'm going to Miami soon. Good supplement for Alzheimer's. I have a bunch of videos on good supplements for Alzheimer's. Um, hey. And then if you're going to ask a question, please put your first name into the chat when you ask your question. That way I can talk to you and I don't have to try to read. So this person, so Lori put her name there. If Lori didn't have her name, I'd be using hello user 119405. I don't want to read that, and I want you to know that I'm answering your question. We got Saudi Arabia. Awesome. I love that this is worldwide. I love this is basically free. I mean, TikTok's paying the infrastructure cost. This is amazing. Jillian from Ontario, Canada. We got Lisa from Nebraska. Sean from Los Angeles. Roar to you, Sean. The painting is by Min Jae Lee. He is from South Korea. We got Asheville, North Carolina. Heard Asheville's awesome. We got Texas. We got Ashley from Mississippi. Roar to you. Toronto in the house. Tejas. Cincinnati, Ohio. Ginny, that's exactly where I am. Joe from Ohio. Roar. Las Vegas. I used to live there. It's a crazy town. Sheila, we will get to supplements. If you're interested in supplements about Alzheimer's disease, I have so many videos about that. Seriously, I've like a third to the videos that I make are about supplements for Alzheimer's disease. So if that's all you want, please go there. And then if you want to stay here and have fun with us, please stay on the live. Good evening from Arizona. Hello. Supplements for Parkinson's disease. I've done multiple videos on that as well. I would just go to the channel and search that. And I appreciate the questions. I will address similar things to that. Those of you on YouTube, let me know who you are and where you're from, please. I tried to go live on Facebook as well, and I couldn't figure out how to do that. Braden, is it true that disease was only discovered in the 1970s? Which disease? Can you talk about APOE3 and 4? Yes, I can. Jose Maria from Chile. I want to know about atoxamine and memory. Supplements for Parkinson's. Saudi Arabia. Okay, awesome. So, how to avoid cancer? Boy, these are not small questions, are they? How do I avoid cancer? What supplements for Alzheimer's disease? What supplements for Parkinson's disease? I'm sure someone asked a question about the meaning of life. Goodness, these are really big questions. Well, hello, Annabelle. By the way, there's a poem by goodness, I'm forgetting his name. The person who did The Raven, Edgar Allan Poe, called Annabelle Lee. I've been reading it at night. It's so beautiful. It's a beautiful poem about Annabelle Lee. All right, so let's get to this. First, I've been watching. I want to share something with you. I think is really important. This links back to Alzheimer's disease, and so I was working as a researcher for a stem cell company, a stem cell education company, a couple of years ago. And I found that one thing that's really, really helpful with aging and Alzheimer's disease is life purpose. Those who have a life purpose have a significant reduction in the risk of Alzheimer's disease. I'll give you the data, and then I'll give you an anecdote. And the anecdote is from Daniel Goleman, who wrote Emotional Intelligence. So those people who wake up in the morning with a purpose, with significance in their life, they are much more likely to be healthier, and they're more likely to be active and do things they find valuable. A lot of people, unfortunately, wake up and don't have things that are important to them, especially if they're retired, if they're not spending time with their children or grandchildren or doing something of purpose in the community. They often just sit and watch television, and that can be very stressful, especially if they're watching the news. And so lack of purpose, lack of significance, lack of community contribution is associated with an increased risk of Alzheimer's disease and chronic diseases. Meanwhile, those who are committed to their community, who are involved in community service, who maybe babysit their children and grandchildren, they have protection against Alzheimer's disease. We saw this, for example, in the nun study. There's a nun study of women who volunteered to be not only in the convent, but also volunteered to be analyzed, dissected when they died. And when they died, we looked at their brains, not we, but scientists looked at their brains, and they found that they had a ton of amyloid plaque in the brain. Amyloid plaque is the hallmark sign of Alzheimer's disease, or one of the signs, and these women did not have memory loss. Fascinating. Why is this? Well, there's a couple of reasons why. Number one, they probably didn't drink very much. Probably few of them smoked. They probably had a relatively healthy diet. I don't know what their stress levels were. I think they were relatively low. if you've dedicated your life to God in your own eyes, probably less stressed than someone who's worried about a lot of different things. But all that aside, these are women who had purpose in their lives. A lot of them chose not to get married to serve God, whether or not you agree with that or not. That's what they think. At least I think that's what they thought. And these women were able to have a bunch of amyloid plaque in the brain and not lose their memory. Fascinating. They were basically able to fight off Alzheimer's disease, living a life of purpose. Very, very cool. And so here's a story from Dr. Daniel Goleman. Dr. Daniel Goleman wrote the book Emotional Intelligence and Social Intelligence. This is a story from social intelligence. His mother was 90 years old, and then she adopted a young child. Basically, it was like she was this young girl's grandmother, and she basically was her grandmother for about 10 years. And Daniel Goleman said that his mother basically did not age during those 10 years. Really fascinating. He said this young girl kept her young. And comment in the chat if you're over 65 and you know what I'm talking about. That being around young children, that being around young people keep you young. That being involved in things beyond yourself keep you young. And actually, community service and being involved in projects and being involved in things of significance beyond ourselves, that's really important. That makes us feel part of the whole, and that makes us feel like we're contributing. Let me know if you understand what I'm talking about, if you agree with me. And so this is really important. So if you really want to live not only a life of joy and fulfillment and happiness, but also if you want to reduce the risk of Alzheimer's disease, do something significant and important to you. The easiest thing to do, I mean, I share this. This is something I do. I pick up trash when I walk in the morning. I really don't do it for my community. I do it for me, because I then feel good for the rest of the day. Hey, I picked up trash today, right? Do people notice? Maybe, probably not. Does it make the neighborhood more beautiful? Slightly. Does anyone notice? Probably not. I notice and I feel good. Find something simple you can do to make the world a better place that you feel good. And then you can identify with someone who is making their community, their world, their neighborhood a nicer place. Another thing you can do is childcare. This could be, you can do it through a community center. You can do it for your own children, your own grandchildren. Get involved with something that you're passionate about that really makes a difference. Yeah, you can foster cats. Whatever it is, get involved with something that's really important to you. You could plant trees. If you have a neighborhood garden, you can invite the neighborhood children over to look at your garden. Whatever it is, be really involved. I was talking to a friend of mine who has Parkinson's disease, and I said, look, the data is very clear. You want to be around children. Children are going to help keep you young. Children are going to be a fun thing for you. And he says, I know, but I'm 65 and I'm not from this country, so my English isn't very good. And it's going to be strange for me to try to babysit children. I said, well, let's find a place where you can go where there are people who can spend time with children that it wouldn't be awkward, right? What's the scenario where that would work? It might be a nursing home, it might be a community center. I don't know, but really, it's really important to find something of significance. And so on this track, I've been learning about pilgrimage. And I learned this, I was talking with a Harvard law professor. His name's Noah Feldman. And I met him through Burning Man. And I got to have a conversation with him. And he said, Robert, it fascinates me about Burning Man. Every year, tens of thousands of people make a pilgrimage to the middle of the desert in Nevada. And I said, oh my gosh, it is a pilgrimage. We are packing up all of our stuff, not all of our stuff. We're packing up our stuff. We're going to the middle of the desert for meaning and purpose. At least that's why I go. Some people go to party. Some people go to do crazy stuff. I go because that is where I find my deepest contribution to my community and meaning and purpose. Really, really cool. And he pointed that out to me, that that's a pilgrimage. And then when you look at other cultures around the world, a lot of spiritual practices have a pilgrimage. Muslims travel to Mecca. I believe that's really important for Muslims to do at some point in their life. Jews go to Jerusalem. And in fact, there's many organizations that bring Jews to Jerusalem. That's part of their mission, is to bring them to the holy city. I don't know why Christians don't have to go to Jerusalem, or they're not pushed to go to Jerusalem. That's really important. And I was just watching this movie. It's called The Way. It's with Emilio Estevez and his father, Martin Sheen. And it talks about this pilgrimage called the Camino de Satiago. And it's this, depending on how long you walk it's 100 kilometers to 300 kilometer trek from it involves Spain and France and Portugal. And it's this trek that people walk alone or in groups, and where you really get to reflect. And there's a wonderful author who I really like. His name's Matthew Kelly. And Matthew Kelly wrote a great book called The Dream Manager. By the way, if you want an inspiring book, write this down. Writer downer, here you go. Matthew Kelly, The Dream Manager. It's a story about a company that hires someone to help the employees achieve their dreams. Amazing, right? Wouldn't it be great if this were just a job that was just everywhere? Hey, what are your dreams? Great. My job is to help you achieve your dreams. Kind of like a life coach, but specifically for achieving your dreams and goals in life. Very, very cool. And so in this book, Matthew Kelly talks about one of his dreams was to walk the Appalachian Trail, and he finally got to do it. And he brought his journal, and he got to journal at night when he would stop and walk. Very, very reflective. And so I'm watching this movie with my mother, and she feels inspired to do something like this, which is really great because my mother right now is not in shape to do a walk like this. And so now we have a tangible goal of getting in shape so that she can walk 5 to 6 hours a day so she can do part of the Camino, the Camino de Santiago trail. So here's what I want from you. Number one, what's something you've always wanted to do? If you've watched the movie Groundhog's Day, one person, she's always wanted to go to Paris. Who knows Groundhog's Day with Bill Murray? So there's Doris in the coffee shop. She's wanted to see Paris before she dies. A lot of us have those things. Something we've always wanted to do before we die. I want to go to Bali. I want to spend some time in Bali. Matthew Kelly, Dream Manager. Thank you, Peg. Please write down something you've always wanted to do, something significant to you. It might be going somewhere. It might be a pilgrimage. It might be a family pilgrimage. It might be a spiritual pilgrimage. It might be to achieve something. It might be to visit somewhere, go somewhere, do something. Please let me know what your what something significant is to you that you've always wanted to achieve. What's going to motivate you, inspire you to get in shape, to save the money for that trip, to do something really significant. Someone Black Rice say, awesome. Become a pilot. Very good. See the Northern Lights. Very cool. And would you please put your first name if you're going to comment? That way I can read who you are. Okay, a bunch just came in. Northern Lights. I want to see my adult children. Great. This is really great. Anyone who's concerned about dying young or dying from dementia, seeing your adult children, seeing your children graduate high school, get married, seeing your grandchildren, that's a huge motivator. Please write that one down. That's a great reason to get in shape and stay in shape. Lydia. Let's see here. See Aurora Borealis. Great. Go to my country, Portugal. Awesome, Annabella. Go to the UK and do a tour of the beautiful churches. Rescue horses. Kathy, grandpa's beginning Alzheimer's disease. What else? See Aurora Borealis. What else we got? You just ordered the Dream Manager. Great job. Live in the Mediterranean culture. Beautiful. Kathy, go to Ireland. Awesome, Kathy St. John. See Alaska. What else we got? Ellen, to visit Scotland. Iceland, Auroras with my ma. Awesome. See Alaska. See Machu Picchu. I had some friends visit Machu Picchu. They said it was amazing. Sailing the Greek islands. That sounds awesome. Jessica, create a dog rescue. Very cool, Jessica. That's very specific too. Create a dog rescue. So Crypto Fiend, I don't know about Cerebro Lysin. So I don't have much to say about that. Rebecca, visit Germany and Iceland. And please put your first name if you're going to ask a question. Stephen here. How about the Astral Project? You want to do the Astral Project? You want to go into the stars? Living in UAE. Is that United Arab Emirates? That would be cool. Awesome. So these are some really cool things. See my 33-year-old son get married. Yes. Yes, Maria, that's what I'm talking about. These very tangible, specific goals, these are meaningful to us as individuals. And then when I hear them, I get motivated by it as an individual, hearing your collective ideas. These are really great things. So what I want you to do, if you put something in the chat, or if you wrote something down for yourself, or you're just thinking of yourself, grab a notebook, grab something to write with, and a pen. I like these pens, by the way. These are great. They have multicolors. Remember these as kids? I found these as an adult. I'm like, these are so great for reading. I can underline in colors. Write down what one of your big goals is, something you want to achieve, something's important to you, like founding a dog rescue. That's really cool. Seeing your son get married, staying healthy enough to see your son get married. Write that down, and then write down the things that you're going to need, specifically health, right? How good of health do you need to be to walk a 100-mile pilgrimage or 100-kilometer pilgrimage in the mountains? How healthy do you need to be to go to Scotland and do the things you want to do in Scotland? How healthy do you need to be to see your son get married, right? And it might just be not only see your son get married, but dance with your son after in the wedding, in the wedding reception, right? Some of my clients say, I want to see my grandchildren graduate high school. Amazing, right? Their grandchildren are 5 and 10. Amazing. They want to see their grandchildren graduate high school. What kind of health do you need to do that? and what's standing in your way, right? For a lot of people, it's lose weight. For 70% of Americans, it's lose weight. For about 50% of Americans, it's reverse insulin resistance, reverse type 2 diabetes or pre-diabetes. For a lot of people, it's reduce inflammation. All right, so write down what you want to achieve and what you need, and the big goal, founding the dog rescue, rescuing cats, rescuing horses, going to Scotland, seeing your son get married. Write that down, and then write down how good your health needs to be and what's standing in the way. And I want you to work on those things. I want you to work on that regularly, and I want you to report in what you're going to do. So I'm going to talk for a little bit about supplements for Alzheimer's disease and Parkinson's disease. I'm going to do that quickly, and then I'm going to come back to you and I'm going to ask you what level of health you need to do the thing you want to do, and what's standing in your way. And then we're going to work on that. I want to check back in with you over the next couple of days just to see you're making progress. And then next Monday, I want to hear what progress you're making. Okay, does that make sense? Sound good? Just wave at the camera, even though I can't see you. Just wave at the camera or give me a thumbs up. Let me know that you're with me. So I really want to make a difference in your life. I really want you to be making steps towards really important things in your life. Okay, we have 23 messages. Wave. Yes, we're awesome. Someone wrote wave. That's awesome. Thank you, Pamela. Rescue seals and sea lions. Farm rescue. I've changed my life. Thank you, Kelly. I appreciate that. I would say you've changed your life. I just provided some information to help you along the way. I don't get credit for that. I'll take a tiny bit of credit. You get the credit for changing your life. Any change that you've done is for you. You've done it. Sophia from the Philippines. Marine at work. I can't miss you while I'm at work. Well, thank you, Marine. I hope I'm not interfering with your work. FIFA Cup. Where's the FIFA Cup taking place? Darned if I know. I don't know. Okay. All right. So I'm going to talk about supplements for like 5 minutes, and then we're going to come back. I want you to write down your big goal, the health you need, and then the biggest health challenge that you're going to overcome, whether it's weight loss, type 2 diabetes, mobility, endurance, whatever it is. Okay. And those of you who are watching the replay on YouTube, I want you to do this too. Please participate. You're going to get much more out of this. It's going to be a lot more fun for you. All right. So supplements for Alzheimer's disease. It really upsets me that people ask about drugs for Alzheimer's disease when these drugs are often don't do much good. They have terrible side effects. So most of the drugs don't work, and they have negative side effects. That's a problem. And there are so many supplements that are extremely safe that have shown to not only slow down the progression of Alzheimer's disease, prevent Alzheimer's disease, and sometimes even reverse memory loss associated with Alzheimer's disease. The data on some supplements is really cool, and these are super duper safe. They're inexpensive, and you can get them basically right now. This stuff is really, really cool. Get your pen, take this down. A lot of people ask me all the supplements I take. You don't need all the supplements I take. Start with these. These will make a huge difference. Number one, curcumin, Curcumin. Curcumin is from the root turmeric. It's from the root of an Indian spice. In Indian culture, turmeric is often cooked with black pepper. That's a hint. The natives, as in like those who use this in their native cooking, in their cultural cooking, they pair turmeric with black pepper. Why? Well, it tastes good. Number two, black pepper increases the absorption of curcumin. Curcumin is very expensive. It's difficult to absorb. So when you take it, you want to take it in a supplement that already has black pepper in it, and also take it with some fat. Here's the data on curcumin. I'm going to start with this one. This is one of my favorite ones. They had these rats. They gave them the standard American diet: high fat, high sugar. If you want to gain weight, here's how to do it: high fat, high sugar. That's how to gain weight. So if you want to lose weight, don't do that, right? High fat's not the problem. It's the high sugar. High sugar increases insulin. Insulin promotes fat storage. So if you go low carb, you can eat more fat and still not gain weight. It's very cool. All right, so they fed these rats high fat, high carb. They became obese. Half the rats got curcumin. Half of them got a placebo. They dissected them. Guess what they found? The rats given curcumin had healthier organs. Their heart was healthier. Their kidneys, their liver, their brain. These things were healthier. The curcumin actually protected their organs from the inflammation associated with obesity. Obesity doesn't just slow you down because it's heavy. Obesity actually creates inflammation in the body. It's very, very dangerous. And so, the idea of managing obesity with blood pressure drugs and cholesterol drugs, that ain't that helpful. That might prevent a heart attack today, but the obesity itself is creating chronic inflammation in the body. That's very taxing on the body and the immune system. So curcumin actually protects the organs from damage from obesity. Very, very cool. Number two, curcumin prevents the accumulation of plaque in the brain. Amyloid plaque is associated with Alzheimer's disease. Mice and rats given curcumin had less amyloid plaque in the brain than those given a placebo. Amazing. And animals, I think this was shown, it's been shown in humans, animals given curcumin had better memory than those who did not get curcumin. So it improves memory, it prevents the accumulation of plaque, it also reduces inflammation. Inflammation is one of the primary causes, primary drivers of Alzheimer's disease. If you can take a supplement that reduces inflammation, that's likely going to protect your body from inflammation and your brain. This is big, big, big. So curcumin, write that down, underline it, use different colors, underline that. Really, really important. To my knowledge, and there's some things I don't know, to my knowledge, curcumin is more effective than any prescription drug available today for Alzheimer's disease. I take curcumin almost every day. I probably take it 6 days a week or 28 days out of a month. If you're not taking curcumin, I really recommend you consider taking it. Check with your medical doctor first. By the way, I'm not a medical doctor. I'm not giving you medical advice. I'm a neuroscientist. I'm giving you the science. If you're not taking curcumin, you are missing out on an inexpensive, powerful, safe supplement that has great potential to improve your immune system, to protect you from inflammation and reduce the risk of Alzheimer's disease and improve your memory. All right, so that's one. That's curcumin. Next is Ceylon cinnamon, spelled Ceylon. Why do you want Ceylon cinnamon? Because the other form of cinnamon, cassia cinnamon, is from China, and that can cause problems in some people's livers. Ceylon cinnamon, much safer. That's from Sri Lanka, also called true cinnamon. If you buy it as a cinnamon spice, it's the lighter cinnamon. It's lighter brown. It smells kind of rich and it smells delightful. The cassia cinnamon is darker brown and smells kind of like dirt. I gave it to some friends one. I'm like, hey, tell the difference. Tell me the difference between the cassia and the Ceylon cinnamon. And they said, this one tastes like dirt. I was like, all right, I get it. You don't like this one. Ceylon cinnamon, in humans, they had human beings without Alzheimer's disease come to the research laboratory. They gave them a memory test. They sent them home with pills. Half of them got a placebo, half of them got Ceylon cinnamon. If I remember correctly, I want to say it's 850 milligrams a day that they took. Don't quote me on that, but something like that. And then they had them come back in 60 days. Guess who had better memories? So the placebo group, their memory stayed the same. On day 1 and day 60, their memory's the same. With the Ceylon cinnamon group, their memory improved. So Ceylon cinnamon improved memory in healthy adults. Very, very cool. Ceylon cinnamon also reduces inflammation. It's antiviral. It's antifungal. It's antibacterial. That's great for the immune system, especially as we're entering cold and flu season and people are concerned about disease. Ceylon cinnamon, really great idea. Don't just add it to your coffee and your cookies. I don't recommend eating cookies, but don't just add it to baked goods and your smoothie and your coffee. I recommend taking a supplement every day or most days. Why? Because it's so much easier to get it just by taking a pill than trying to add, half a teaspoon of cinnamon to your food every day. That requires a lot more effort than just a pill. A pill is a lot simpler. It's worth the investment. I promise you. Seriously, if it's not going to cause you to not be able to pay the rent, invest in some really great supplements like Ceylon cinnamon, like curcumin. I'm going to give you 2 more. One is Bacopa monieri. There is a ton of data on Bacopa. I was writing a short paper on this. I think I found there's about 10 different studies from around the world that showed that Bacopa in humans, Bacopa improved memory in those with early stage Alzheimer's disease. Bacopa reduced the risk of memory loss and dementia in early stage Alzheimer's disease using a variety of cognitive tests. So they did verbal memory, they did visual spatial memory, they did a variety of things. I think they did working memory. Working memory is your ability to hold multiple things in your head at a time. Think a phone number. Right? A phone number we hold in our head, 7 digits. So a healthy working memory is 7 digits plus or minus 2. So most people can remember a phone number without the area code, right? So they tested all these things, and Bacopa, in almost every single study, people who took Bacopa had significantly better memory than those who did not. Very similar in animal studies as well. Bacopa, very, very safe. Bacopa is thought to work on acetylcholine. Acetylcholine is what I call the master molecule of memory. It is a neurotransmitter involved in memory in the hippocampus, the memory center of your brain. Bacopa is very, very safe. My company sells a Bacopa supplement, and I'm not going to sell it to you tonight. I'm not going to tell you how to get it, but I'm just going to tell you the benefits of it. When I give it to people, when I give it to clients, they report they have this improvement in clarity, right? So coffee, how do you experience coffee? Most people experience coffee as, wow, I have an increase in energy, or I have an increase in focus, or an increase in intention. It's pretty severe. But Copa, it's much more like a clarity. It's like, ooh, I feel like I'm just sharp today, right? Just things are just a little bit better. It's very, very cool. And people notice it right away, that day or the next day. It's powerful. One more supplement I'm going to give you is called Huperzine A, spelled Huperzine A. Huperzine A protects the brain and helps reduce the risk of dementia in a variety of ways. Number one, it's anti-inflammatory. It's neuroprotective. There's a ton of data from China on Huperzine A. Huperzine A is also called Chinese club moss. It's a very well studied supplement in China. We're just beginning research on Huperzine A here in the United States. I'm actually doing a research project on it. I'll tell you about that in just a moment. So Huperzine A, it reduces inflammation and therefore protects the brain from one of the primary causes of Alzheimer's disease, which is inflammation. Number two, Huperzine A increases acetylcholine action in the brain. This is really, really important. According to the Journal of Nutrition, about 90% of Americans are deficient in choline. Choline is something we get from food that is a precursor to acetylcholine. Now, we can make some choline. I think our liver makes it, but we can't make enough to meet our daily need. So it's important to have adequate choline intake. 90% of us are deficient in it. Logic tells us then that 90% of us are then at risk for being deficient in acetylcholine, an important neurotransmitter involved in memory, also involved in motor activity. So motor movement going like this, acetylcholine is involved in that as well. Acetylcholine is involved in a variety of functions throughout the brain and body. It's a very important neurotransmitter. Research on the dissection of Alzheimer's brains found that most people, let me back up. The brains of Alzheimer's patients lack acetylcholine. They are deficient in acetylcholine. They're also deficient in magnesium, by the way. Early research from the 80s showed that the Alzheimer's brain was deficient in magnesium. So if you need a good reason to supplement magnesium, there you go. People with Alzheimer's disease, they were more likely to have a deficiency in magnesium than healthy brains. So Huperzine A protects the brain from inflammation, and it increases acetylcholine action in the brain. This is really, really cool. And this is something similar to a variety of Alzheimer's drugs, but Huperzine A does it better, and it does it safer. Huperzine A has very few side effects. I can tell you about them. One time I took 10 times too much. So let's say I was supposed to take 0.1 milligrams. I took 1 milligram. That's how much I missed. I missed by a zero. I missed by 10x. Guess what happened to me? I had a bad headache and a terrible stomach ache for about 12 hours. It was Halloween, day and night. This must have been 4 years ago. I remember what I did that day. And I thought, wow. And then I looked back at the scale I was measuring out as a powder. I was like, oh my gosh, I really messed up. Imagine if I'd taken any other drug. Imagine if I'd taken 10x Tylenol, 10x Advil, 10x alcohol. Choose your drug, choose your supplement. Likely, I would have had severe side effects. The side effects were relatively mild, considering that I took 10x the wrong amounts. Right? It could have been very dangerous or deadly, depending on if I was taking a prescription drug and I missed by 10x, I could have ended up in the hospital, depending on the prescription drug. And this one, I just had it. I was able to sleep that night. I had a bad headache. I had a bad stomach ache. I didn't feel like doing anything. I had plans that night. I'd call my friend and say, I'm sorry, I can't go. And I was able to get to sleep that night. So Huperzine A is very, very safe. In a study of over 100,000 Chinese people, Huperzine A was shown to be safe for the general population with minimal side effects and helps improve memory in early stage Alzheimer's disease. Let me say that again. Huperzine A studies basically show that it improves memory in early stage Alzheimer's disease in both humans and animal studies. The challenge is that most people in the United States don't know about Huperzine A, and most medical doctors and neurologists and general practitioners do not know about it. That's why I'm doing this research project. I'm doing a clinical study on Huperzine A and whether or not it improves memory and how much. If you'd like to participate, you can apply right now below my profile. There's a link. It says Huperzine A memory study. We're starting the next couple days, so please apply, and then I'll review your application, get back to you. We have a few spots left. We are starting in November, so please fill your application out now. There is a cost. There's a cost of $500 that pays for your study supplement for 6 months. There are going to be 3 supplements you're going to take for 6 months in the study. And I'm asking subjects to pay that money so that way we can get the study started. Otherwise, I'm going to need to apply for grants, and this could take years to do. And by the way, no major pharmaceutical company is likely to do this because you can't patent huperzine A. You can't patent supplements. That's why major pharmaceutical companies aren't doing research on supplements, because you can't patent it. If you can't patent it, they don't care, generally speaking, right? I do care because I want you to have things that help reduce the risk of Alzheimer's disease. I want you to have the science, and for doctors to have the science and the data that says, hey, huperzine A improves memory in 70% of people who take it. Great. That's a great data point. They can take that and they can take that to their patients and say, hey, this supplement helps 70% of people. Consider taking it. It's pretty safe, right? And right now they don't have that information. They don't have those numbers. I want to provide those numbers so that way people can use this more effectively. Right now, most of the research is in Chinese. Most medical doctors in the United States don't read Chinese. I don't read Chinese. I'd like to. I'd like to speak Mandarin. My children will speak Mandarin. I'll tell you more about that later. And so this is really, really important. So if you want to participate in this study, you can apply below my profile. If you want to donate to the study, that would be really helpful. The more donations we get, the more people we can get in the study. So if you want to participate or donate, just click the apply button. And then even if you don't want to participate, if you just fill out that form, you will get a link on how to donate for the study. So please, please, please contribute to that either as a participant or a donor. Even $10 makes a difference. Like seriously, because $10 is part of the way of funding another participant. The more participants we get, the better the data, the more quickly we can get information out about how huperzine A helps people. Those are 1, 2, 3, 4 supplements shown in scientific research to help reduce the risk of Alzheimer's disease and improve memory and early stage memory loss. They are curcumin. Make sure you're taking it with a fat and take it with black pepper. Number 2 is Ceylon cinnamon. Also take that with fat. That helps absorption. Number 3 is bacopa. Number 4 is huperzine A. And I'm going to tell you about another pharmaceutical. It's called aniracetam. This one is really cool. This one's hard to get. And so this one, in some ways, it's less valuable than huperzine A because it's less available, right? It's hard for people to get. Some people think it's illegal. Some major websites won't sell it because they think it's a gray area, which is really unfortunate because this is really important. And some supplement companies I've called supplement companies, said, hey, will you sell aniracetam? They say, no, we can't touch that, which is really unfortunate because this is a really powerful supplement. It's a pharmaceutical that's legal to buy. It's legal to sell. It's legal to use and possess, but just people are afraid of it. And it's really unfortunate. So like huperzine A, aniracetam increases acetylcholine. Acetylcholine is the master molecule of memory. It's involved in the hippocampus, the memory center of your brain. So it increases acetylcholine activity. Number 2, aniracetam protects the brain from something called glutamate excitotoxicity. Say it with me, people. Say it loud, say it proud. Glutamate excitotoxicity. Glutamate is the primary excitatory neurotransmitter in your brain. You've probably heard of GABA. GABA is the primary inhibitory neurotransmitter in your brain. So think two sides of the same coin, GABA and glutamate. Glutamate to excite, GABA to bring down. So alcohol increases GABA activity, right? It kind of slows things down. A lot of you have told me that you take GABA to help with sleep and anxiety and so forth. And if that works for you, great. Glutamate's excitatory. In the Alzheimer's brain, we find too much glutamate activity. The result of this is something called glutamate excitotoxicity, where there's so much excitation with glutamate, it becomes toxic, and we start to lose synapses and neurons. It becomes so excitatory, so active, neurons start to die. This is a serious problem. And so aniracetam helps prevent glutamate excitotoxicity, so it protects the brain. In fact, this is something, I think memantine, that's one of the Alzheimer's drugs, that the primary objective of memantine is to protect the brain from glutamate excitotoxicity. So aniracetam does that, and it increases acetylcholine. Very, very cool. And right now I'm working on a paper that I'm going to submit to some major journals. Well, one journal, then if it doesn't get submitted, I'll submit to some other ones about aniracetam preventing the accumulation of amyloid plaque in the brain. This is a really, really big idea. Let me explain it to you. So amyloid plaque is the hallmark sign of Alzheimer's disease. That was the plaque that Alois Alzheimer's discovered in the woman he was studying. He found that in her brain, this plaque in the brain, and that's become associated with one of the hallmark signs of Alzheimer's disease. And a lot of the Alzheimer's drugs have sought to prevent the accumulation of plaque in the brain. Now, aniracetam does a couple things. One, it increases acetylcholine, which is great. We know Alzheimer's brains are deficient in acetylcholine. Number two, it prevents glutamate excitotoxicity. We know that's a risk in Alzheimer's disease. Number three, it prevents the accumulation of plaque in the brain. I think it does because of a couple different pathways. Aniracetam increases BDNF, which stands for brain-derived neurotrophic factor. What is that? That's a growth factor that's involved in growing new brain cells and new neural connections. That alone is really, really important. Lion's mane increases BDNF. Exercise increases BDNF. And we know that exercise, there's great research to show that exercise, I think from Kirk Taylor, I think that's his name. It's Kirk. His last name is T. Study done on people who are 60 years and older. Aerobic exercise actually increases hippocampal volume in senior citizens. Really great research. So exercise actually grows a bigger brain. Amazing. One of the factors in that is brain-derived neurotrophic factor and NGF, nerve growth factor. I know these are a lot of terms. These are terms you want to know. You want to know BDNF, brain-derived neurotrophic factor, and nerve growth factor. So aniracetam increases that. Brain-derived neurotrophic factor also reduces amyloid plaque by basically reducing the production of amyloid plaque. I don't want to get into the exact mechanism. I don't think it's going to be helpful. But basically, brain-derived neurotrophic factor has shown to reduce the accumulation of plaque in the brain. So that's cool. Number two, aniracetam works on another pathway called metatropic glutamate receptors. And it basically works on a pathway that reduces amyloid plaque production. So it works on reducing amyloid plaque production through a pathway called mGLRs. And that's really helpful. So aniracetam works on a variety of ways to help reduce the risk of Alzheimer's disease. I know that's a lot of sciencey, jargony stuff. Basically, aniracetam is cool as shit, if I can just summarize that up for you. It increases acetylcholine. It increases brain-derived neurotrophic factor. It protects against glutamic excitotoxicity and protects against plaque in the brain. That's awesome. Challenge, it's hard to get. It's hard to find. It's hard to find sellers. And even if you're someone like me who's going to supplement companies, it's hard to find manufacturers. And so even if you can, if you can get it, great. Unfortunately, it's just hard for people to find. Most medical doctors don't know about it. And because it's a pharmaceutical, most of them will say, don't take this. This could interact with stuff. And unfortunately, that's what a lot of people have heard. They'll go to their doctor and say, hey, I want to take aniracetam, or I have aniracetam. Can I take this? The doctor will say, no, my machine says this could interact with your blood pressure medication. Yes, maybe. And that interaction, if it happens, is very small. And by the way, I'm not saying ignore the advice of your medical doctor. What I am saying is that the benefits of aniracetam may outweigh the potential negative side effects or interactions. I did a long interview with a pharmacist and medical doctor from the UK where aniracetam is a prescription drug. And he said, Robert, I agree with you. The benefits of aniracetam are clear and the potential side effects are very small, and we don't even know if they're real. And so the benefits probably outweigh the risks for most people who are concerned about dementia. That's really, really cool. And so if you want to get aniracetam, you can search for it online. There are at least 3 credible merchants online that sell it. And if you become a Patreon patron of the Lion's Den, of my channel here, I share that information of where I get my aniracetam with my Patreon patrons. I don't share that with the public because it's going to sell out. I sold out of fish oil on Amazon. I'm amazed that happened. So my favorite fish oil that I talk about, I can't buy that right now on Amazon because you wonderful people have bought it up. That's great. I'm glad that you bought the fish oil. It's a terrific quality fish oil. And I'm not telling you where I get my aniracetam because I want to be able to buy it. If you become a Patreon patron, I will share that information with you as a bonus. You can just go to patreon.com and search Robert WB Love, or you can click the link below my profile, go to my Patreon page. You can sponsor me for like $3.18 a month. And then you'll learn where to get aniracetam, and huperzine will get you most of the way there. Some work better than some people do better with the aniracetam. Some people do better with huperzine. Some people like to take both. I take both, and I switch one day on, one day off. Don't take them together. They don't work well together. It's too much acetylcholine activity. Okay, so you can either take huperzine, which I'm doing a study on, or you can do aniracetam. Do not take them together. They don't go well together. Make sense? All right. I know I said it was going to be short. Let me know how that works. Let me know what questions you have. I just kind of went really deep. You found it in pill or powder form, bought a scale. Great idea. Aniracetam. Seems like UK is more up to date on medical studies. Yeah. Spelling Aniracetam. Someone spell that. And Aniracetam. Yeah. Well, now you know more options about. If you're going to comment, please put your first name so I can talk to you because other. So I got to go to her little glorious pieces. So I got to say all those words to talk to you. So her little glorious pieces. I'm glad you now know about these supplements. So if this comes up again, you now have some other options. Um, so love lavender, aniracetam slightly thins the blood. And the question is, how dangerous is that? Well, it certainly depends upon the person, what other blood thinning drugs they're on. It has the blood thinning capability of about a baby aspirin. That's what I read. And I'm sure it depends upon dosage and person. And that's likely safe for most people. Was I at FSN this week? No. So AC 72188. Please put your first name when you make a comment from here on out. But if you're going to be in the lines, then please put your first name in here because I got to read all these things. 72188. I don't know what your mother should take. I'm giving you, I've been going on the best options possible for most healthy adults. Please check with a neurologist who knows something. Those are hard to find. And then do your own research on some of the supplements that I've been sharing. Yeah, taking with omega-3 is great. I don't know what FSFN is. Are these lives recorded? Yes, they are recorded on YouTube. By the way, it's great if you go on YouTube and comment because those comments will be recorded. And then when people watch the replay, they will be there. So unfortunately, TikTok doesn't save the comments. Thank you, man, Missouri. TikTok doesn't save the comments. And so that's a problem. So please drop some comments into YouTube. And then those will be there. Okay, so that's some supplements for Alzheimer's disease. Now, as promised, there are, if your mother has advanced Alzheimer's disease, Jennifer, thank you for putting your first name. If your mother has advanced Alzheimer's disease, huperzine A can help. You can try to get aniracetam. That might help as well. That might help slow down or stop it. I would also give your mother MCT oil and a B complex vitamin and fish oil and aniracetam and alpha GPC. I would start there. For you, I don't know what's best for you. Huperzine A could be helpful. Aniracetam could be helpful. Definitely B complex and fish oil. Your aunt was diagnosed with early onset advice. She's 55. Yeah, take action now. Seriously, get started like tomorrow. I recommend ordering the book, The End of Alzheimer's Program by Dr. Dale Bredesen. I recommend watching a bunch of my videos and learning a bunch of stuff, doing your own research, getting some really high quality supplements. Get her exercising, get her taking MCT oil, a B complex vitamin with fish oil every day, high quality fish oil. Improve her sleep. Check to see if she's on any drugs that block acetylcholine. Drugs like COPD drugs and bladder control drugs. Some drugs for sleep block acetylcholine. Some drugs block norepinephrine, and that impairs memory. So see what drug she's on, and get moving. Like seriously, early onset Alzheimer's, get going like right now. No time to waste. Astaxanthin is good for your eyes. Please put your first name in the chat. I don't want to start scolding people. Okay. Camino de Santiago. Yes, Seattle girl. We started talking about that earlier. We started talking about a pilgrimage. So let's get back to that. So if you've been here first of all, if you've just arrived, please put your first name, where you are from in the chat. And then if you're an evolving lion, give me a roar. By the way, this is the Lion's Den. This is where we evolving lions come to meet and support and love each other, learn cool stuff, and evolve. And we're evolving lions because we want to get better. We want to evolve ourselves. We look to our evolutionary past to inform our diet. What did our ancestors eat? And we like lion's mane. At least I like lion's mane. I hope you do too. It's shown to be very, very helpful with It's shown to be very, very helpful with improving brain health. So please put your first name, where you're from in the chat. If you just got here, give me a roar. Awesome, Pauline. Roar. Roar to you, Karina. Hello, Ina. Anna from Toronto. Julie, state number 48. All right. We got Sal. Insomnia cookies. I haven't heard of that. Jennifer. Very cool. You don't have a clue what lion's mane is. Lion's mane. Hello, Terry. Roar to you. Lion's mane is an ancient Chinese mushroom that improves brain health. Check it out. It's very cool. I got a couple of different videos on it. There's a lot of information on lion's mane. Lion's mane's funny. I'll make a video about lion's mane, and then people will post videos about psychedelic mushrooms under it. I don't know why that happens. I think they're trying to sell stuff. It's a little bit annoying because I have to go through the video and like block all these people that are trying to sell psychedelic mushrooms on my channel. So sorry that when I make a lion's mane video, this is what happens. Yes, Victoria, I am in Cincinnati right now. All right. So supplements for Parkinson's disease. And then I want to hear from a couple of you about what your big goal is, what your pilgrimage is, what's something that's really important to you, something about your life purpose that you want to achieve, how good your health needs to be there, and then what's standing in your way so we can begin to take steps to address it. And then I'll mention a couple of things that you can do. So if you post your stuff in there, if you're vulnerable and you take action and you participate, I will I'll do my best to help you, people who comment. All right. And if you want, if any of you want to log into YouTube and comment there, your comments will be saved there. By the way, on YouTube, it actually tells me your name, so you don't need to comment your name. So please, 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 if you do comment, anytime you comment, there's 228 people on here right now. If you comment and don't include your name, I just don't know who you are. There's too many people for me to monitor. All right. So supplements for Parkinson's disease. Parkinson's disease is a disease of dopamine. Dopamine is a neurotransmitter involved in focus, memory, and attention, also motor movement. Remember, we talked about acetylcholine's involved in motor movement. So is dopamine. In fact, one of the primary drugs for Parkinson's disease, called levodopa, increases dopamine. And I just learned that there's evidence that it may decrease acetylcholine, which could be a problem, right? So levodopa is really beneficial for people with Parkinson's disease, and it may have negative side effects because it decreases acetylcholine. So how to help with Parkinson's disease? Number one, there's some surgeries involved. You want to check with a neurologist. I am not a Parkinson's disease expert. I have an interest in it because it's a neurodegenerative disease. My specialty is Alzheimer's disease. It is not Parkinson's disease. I'm just going to give you the information that I have. So Parkinson's disease, some things that are helpful are, number one, there's something called focused ultrasound, which I learned in the book Life Force by Tony Robbins. Focused ultrasound is an FDA approved, basically, surgery that involves high frequency sound waves. Oh, good. More people logged on to YouTube. Outstanding. High frequency sound waves go to the motor area of the brain and basically help remove some of the challenges associated with Parkinson's disease. That's all I know. And that's shown to be very effective. And it's FDA approved. It's covered by insurance. Very cool. I think they like younger people for that surgery, but that's a cool surgery or a cool procedure. Next, there's another surgery that a friend of mine is going to get where it involves like inserting some sort of battery pack to kind of interrupt the tremors. So that's really cool. Oh, we got a comment on YouTube. Hello, Victoria Krushner. Good to see you. Roar to you. All right. Next. So those are two surgery options. You need to talk with a neurologist about this, see what's appropriate for the person who has Parkinson's disease. Of course, check with your medical doctor about any of the stuff that I say. I'm not giving you medical advice, just sharing the science with you. Next, some supplements. Number one is coffee, caffeine. Those who drink coffee or caffeine on a regular basis have a 15% decrease in the risk of Parkinson's disease. That's awesome. Number two, those who smoke cigarettes have a 30% decrease in their risk of Parkinson's disease. So I don't recommend smoking, but let's take the lesson here. The lesson is nicotine may be healthy for people who have Parkinson's disease or reducing the risk of Parkinson's disease. So find a safe way to get nicotine. If you currently smoke, please stop smoking. It has terrible impact on your brain and body. Smoking is just a really bad deal. If you vape, please try to get off vaping. Vaping, we don't know all the negative side effects of vaping. It's likely contributes to popcorn lung, and it still has some of the negative effects of smoking. Much safer are nicotine lozenges, nicotine patches, nicotine gum, and nicotine sprays. I've done the nicotine sprays and it hurts my throat. I don't recommend those. Those are pretty severe. I like the nicotine lozenges. Those I find give me good focus and energy, and they last kind of a short period of time. So I can take them at night, for example, and do some work, and then it doesn't keep me up late. They also work very quickly, and they feel really good. Now, I'm not recommending smoking or tobacco or any addictive or damaging product. If you do smoke, please quit. And I really recommend some nicotine lozenges as a tool for quitting. And if you have Parkinson's or you're concerned about Parkinson's, or if you have a genetic risk of Parkinson's, it may make sense to get a nicotine patch, to take nicotine gum, or take a nicotine lozenge to increase dopaminergic activity. So nicotine increases dopamine or dopaminergic activity, also increases acetylcholine, as does caffeine. Caffeine increases dopamine activity. So by taking these supplements that increase dopamine activity or dopaminergic activity, that can reduce the risk of Parkinson's disease. Oh, cool. Laura Finch. We got some comments from Laura Finch. 23andMe says I have potential late Alzheimer's disease risk, and I'm only 36. Well, I'm glad you know. And Kathy, roar to you, Kathy. You're so welcome. Happy to help. All right. So that's what I got. Now here's so we just went over Alzheimer's disease supplements and Parkinson's disease supplements. Here's what I want from you on both TikTok and YouTube. Please put down your big goal, something you want to achieve. So it might be walk the Camino de Santiago. It might be walk the Appalachian Trail. It might be build a house. It might be rescue horses. It might be rescue cats. It might be, make your dog rescue. I know someone had that. Some people want to travel to Scotland. Some people want to see their son get married. Whatever that is, please put that in the chat and put down how good your health needs to be in order to do that, and then what's standing in your way, right? So for my mother, she needs to be able to walk 5 to 6 hours a day. That's what she needs to be. And then what's standing in her way, I don't want to answer for her, but that's where her health needs to be. So write down what's standing in your way. It might be muscle strength. It might be you have an injury. It might be weight loss. It might be flexibility. It might be endurance. It might be time. Whatever it is, write that down. Then I'm going to work with a couple of people to see if I can help you move closer to this really big goal. Okay. So everyone got what it is? Yes, makes sense. Wave at the camera. Makes sense. So let me see what you're up to. Luis did the Camino in 2019. Best experience ever. Awesome. Oh, Luz. Awesome, Luz. Jody wants to ride a horse without pain and needs weight loss. Awesome, Jody. Thank you for putting your first name. If you're going to comment, please put your first name. I really appreciate that. You can do this. So Jody, there's a weight loss. There's a supplement that's great for the brain that also helps with weight loss. It's called L-tyrosine. It increases dopamine. Increasing dopamine helps reduce appetite, also increases energy. And I'm going to share this now. There's a weight loss expert who's a friend of mine who we're working on helping a lot of people on this channel, and he's got a free weight loss roadmap where he goes over your goals and your specific body type and the foods that you like, and then creates a roadmap for how you can achieve the weight loss that you want. So if you're serious about weight loss and you want to work with someone, go to underneath my profile and go to it says weight loss blueprint with Chad Tackett. Last time I checked, he only had 8 spots left. When I talk about this, usually his calendar fills up really quickly. But Jody, if you in particular are really interested in this and you really want to get going on this, please schedule a free call with Chad's team, a free weight loss blueprint session. It's totally free, and they go over what your goals are, what kind of foods you like, what your hormone profile is, and then from that they say, hey, by the way, here's the plan that's likely to be best for you, and then they offer support ongoing if you want that as well. And so anyone, if you're really committed to weight loss, check that out. Please wait 5 minutes so Jody can fill it out, so that way the calendar doesn't fill up. And seriously, Chad Tackett has been doing weight loss for the last 27 or 28 years. He's worked with tens of thousands of people, and he's helped so many people lose weight and be healthier. So if weight is standing in your way, please schedule some time with him and his team. You can, and that's a link below my profile, and that call is totally free. Lauren Finch wants to drink less. Thank you, Lauren. Tell me, Lauren on YouTube, why is that important to you? And then what's standing in your way? Is it do you go out and happy hour with coworkers? Do you are you drinking with your husband, wife, fiance, or friends? Do you just drink at night to unwind? What's in the way of you drinking less? Okay, Kathy. Kathy, I have MS, yet I'm perfectly okay. Thank God. Yes. Thank God. That's great. I'm glad your MS is doing all right. By the way, if you haven't seen it yet, the call I did with Dr. Shannon, who's a functional medicine doctor, she mentioned how Epstein-Barr is related to MS in a lot of people. That's very interesting. I have an aunt who has MS, and I'm going to connect her with Dr. Shannon to see if she can help. What else we got? Pauline, help with my sister with dementia. She's only 68 in a nursing home. Goodness, Pauline. I would recommend getting the book, The End of Alzheimer's Program by Dr. Dale Bredesen and doing that protocol. Maybe get her some supplements. I'm sorry she's already in a nursing home. That's really hard. That's really expensive. Luz, I started patching some of the 36 holes in the roof. So those of you who don't know, that's a reference from Dr. Dale Bredesen's book. He mentions how the roof has lots of different holes in it. These are the different risk factors for Alzheimer's disease, and you're patching a bunch of them. Great job. Seriously, great job. I've not heard of Seraptase, Albert. Where is it? The link for working with Chad Tackett for scheduling that free session with his team is below my profile. There's a link tree, which is like a bunch of different links into one. If you click there and then you scroll down, it'll say free weight loss roadmap with Chad Tackett, or free weight loss blueprint with Chad Tackett, something like that. Okay, Julie, big goal is to walk another Camino. Awesome. You've already done the Camino. Awesome, Julie. Totally cool. And you might do the Norte one again. Great. What's standing in your way? Is it time? Is it money? Do you have the health and energy to do it right now? Are you ready to rock? L-tyrosine can increase blood pressure. And so does coffee. And coffee is very healthy for the brain. Laura wants to ride another formal bike race and get back on the bike. Awesome, Laura. You can do this. I believe in you. Tell me what's standing in your way. How good does your health need to be? And is it about heart health and endurance? Is it leg strength? Is it, what's holding you back from being able to ride your bike? Can I write down the name of the weight loss supplement? It's called L-tyrosine. L-Tyrosine. Lilu, if you go down 4 comments to Soul Build has written out L-tyrosine. Mark, help with my joint pain and energy. Awesome. Oh, Mary, I'm sorry. Mary, help with my joint pain and energy. So Mary, is that your big goal, is to be free of joint pain and have better energy? If that's your big goal, why? Is it to play with your children or grandchildren? Is it to be able to walk without pain? Is it to go on a pilgrimage and walk somewhere? Is it to be able to dance with your husband, wife, significant other, or with your children? Tell me what's the why behind the joint pain? We got a comment here on YouTube from Victoria Kushner. You want to run 5Ks with your daughter again. That's awesome, Victoria. You can totally do that. Tell me what level of health do you need for that? And is it about getting a new set of running shoes and starting walking and running every day? What do you need to do to get there, Victoria? It's a great goal. So Soul Build, would you please put your first name when you ask a question? Please put your first name when you make a comment. That way I can talk to you. Maureen. Well, hello, Maureen. Roar to you. Camino Santiago was hopeful. 524, need to get my stamina up. All right, Marley, need to get your stamina up. Awesome. So I want you to take an action this week to get your stamina up. Maybe it's go for a walk. Maybe it's to go for a brisk walk a couple times. Maybe it's to skip dessert. I don't know. By the way, you don't need to skip dessert totally. You can have these for dessert. I'm not sponsored by them, but I love them. Hue Chocolate. Hue Chocolate is great. I totally recommend them. It's a great healthy chocolate. It's rich in the flavonoids in chocolate that are really good. By the way, chocolate helps with both neurogenesis and angiogenesis. Genesis means the creation of new things. Neuro means neurons. So this helps grow new neurons, and angiogenesis, new blood vessels Very, very cool. So chocolate is super duper healthy for your brain, and it's gosh darn delicious. So, so Marley or Merrily, tell me, what's something you can do to take action this week to move towards improving your stamina. And so Victoria Kushner on YouTube, I'm walking 10,000 steps a day. I'm losing weight. You're down 65 pounds? Really? That's amazing. Let's give a big roar to Victoria. Seriously, let me see that on YouTube and on TikTok. Let's give a big roar to Victoria. She's down 65 pounds. That's amazing. I love hearing that. You got this, Victoria. Another 29 to go. I have no doubt you will make it. You will go another 30 or whatever else you need. You're awesome. A lot of hearts coming in for you here, Victoria on TikTok. Awesome. Beautiful. This is Angie. Thank you for putting your name in, Angie. Running ultra marathons. An ultra marathon. So an ultra marathon's like beyond 26.2, right? It's like 27 or 30. You want to run an ultra marathon, time and strength, cardio health, and endurance needs. Holy cow. That's serious, Angie. You're not fooling around. All right, you can do this. So I want you to do something this week that moves you towards the ultra marathon. So it's probably not a walk, it's probably a run, or it might be hiring a trainer, or it might be working with a nutritionist or someone who specializes in training for ultra marathons. I don't know what it is. I don't run marathons. It sounds like you do. And so whatever the next step is, I'd love for you if you to put that in the chat. That way we can all see what you're up to. But please make a commitment to doing something this week to move you towards that, whether it's get back with the marathon club in your town or the meetup where you run every morning, whether it's getting new running shoes, whether it's getting examined by your doctor to make sure that, running is safe for you. Maybe it's getting, cold weather running gear, and maybe it's hiring a coach or a trainer, whatever it is. I'd love to know what your next steps are. All right. All right. Is this helpful, by the way? Is this interesting? Give me a wave if this is helpful, or give me a comment if this is helpful. I really want to be of service here while we're on the call here. All right, I just got a bunch of hearts. Cool. What else we got? Shelly, I have lupus, stage 2 renal failure, and I'm 85 pounds overweight. Is Ozempic safe for use? I don't know what Ozempic is. Well, let's address, you have lupus and stage 2 renal failure. These are really big ideas. These are really big, important things to address. So Shelly, I really recommend you schedule a free session with Dr. Shannon. We had Dr. Shannon on 2 nights ago. She was amazing. She stayed up way past her bedtime. She was on here for an hour and 45 minutes answering questions. She shared that lupus is often associated with other autoimmune issues that she helps uncover and solve by doing laboratory testing. And kidney failure is really, really serious, as you know. Some things about kidney failure that you want to avoid. You want to avoid fluoride in your water. That's just something else for your kidneys to filter out. Number 2, you want to avoid packaged drinks. So any packaged or processed drinks, they likely have fluoride in them. Excuse me. And with that in mind, you want to avoid, sodas and these things that aren't good for your kidneys. The kidneys are the workhorse of your body. This is the workhorse organ. I think they filter out, like your kidneys filter out 3 bathtubs full of blood every day. That's how much blood your kidneys filter out and then expel some through the urine. Your kidneys are super duper important. If you have stage 2 renal failure, I really want you to get that addressed immediately in the best way possible. I'm not an expert in the kidneys, and this is not my area of specialty. Please find someone who is a specialist in this. I think talking to Dr. Shannon, she's got a free consultation with a doctor on her team. Usually it's her husband, and they can steer you in the right direction. Either they can tell you what test to get, or they can they can refer you to an expert, or they'll do both. And I think they can be really helpful. So please, 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 Shelly, take action, whether it's finding a functional medicine doctor in your area or schedule. I mean, you can schedule a free call with Dr. Shannon. Just say, hey, what tests do I need? And what do I need to do to get started? And they can point you in the right direction. So that's just a free consult with them. That's underneath my profile. Under my link tree, it'll say Dr. Shannon. I forget what else it says. But please schedule that. We filled out her schedule last Tuesday. She may open up some more slots but follow her and then message her or comment on some of her videos like, hey, I'm trying to schedule an appointment with you. And tell her I sent you. Tell her Robert Love said to contact you. Can you please make time for me? I want to send you some love and some prayers right now, Shelly. It seems really difficult and really hard. And so please get this taken care of. And the fact that you're here on, TikTok, learning about these things at 10:47 Eastern time on a Thursday night, rather than watching TV or movies or, eating popcorn and drinking soda and alcohol and sugar, like you're on the right path. Like you're just in a good community. Right now, we're in a virtual community where we're all getting together and talking about this stuff. And it's not just a one-way street. I want this to be a conversation where everyone's participating. And so you're in the right place. You have a bunch of supportive people here right now that want you to succeed. I want you to succeed. And so please take some action tonight or tomorrow, and then check back in, Shelly. Okay. Does that sound good? Will you please check back in and let me know the progress? I really want to know that you're working on both of these and you're making good progress. Okay. All right. Got some hearts coming in for you, Shelly. Callista, the difference between neurogenesis and neuroplasticity. Great question. So neuroplasticity is usually new neural connections. So neuron 1, neuron 2, when you make a connection between them, that's making a new synapse, making a new connection. That's neuroplasticity. Neurogenesis is the genesis of a new neuron, generally speaking. And I think new synapses are included in that. But neuroplasticity is usually not growing new neurons. Those terms are pretty close. So foods and supplements to stimulate neurogenesis are lion's mane for BDNF, and then exercise. Those are the two things I'd recommend: lion's mane and exercise. Oh, and sleep. Sleep is when we make new neurons. So you can take lion's mane and exercise and learn during the day. And if you don't sleep, that's not going to grow new neurons. You actually need to sleep to grow new neurons and new synapses. Extremely important. Dr. Andrew Huberman talks about that. Okay, in about 10 minutes, I'm going to put on my blue blockers here so I can get to bed on time. Tim, you want to attend your grandson's wedding and see their kids. That's awesome. Let's give a big roar for Tim. That's such a great goal, Tim, and that's very crystal clear. That's really meaningful. You have Alzheimer's in the family, so you want to prevent that, and what's staying in the way is time and health. Well, Tim, I want you to think about what's something you can do this week to move you closer to that. Got a bunch of hearts coming in for you, Tim. So this is a great thing. You want to attend your grandson's wedding and see their kids. That's beautiful. That's really great. Like I can feel that. That's such a beautiful thing, Tim. So that's a great thing to work towards. And so what's something you could do this week to work on your health? Is it buy running shoes so you can just go for a walk? By the way, don't buy walking shoes, buy running shoes. They have more cushion in them and they're good for walking. So with running shoes, you can both walk and run. With walking shoes, they just have less cushion, and you really want max cushion when you're hitting the pavement, especially. So maybe it's get some running shoes, maybe it's get some cold weather exercise gear. Maybe just call up a friend and say, hey, will you go for a walk with me this week? Maybe it's getting 20 of these. And when I say 20, I actually mean 20. When I say 20, I actually mean 30. You want to get a bunch of these, or whatever your healthy dessert is, get this so you just have access to this, so you're not tempted to eat the high fructose corn syrup or the processed food or the Twinkies or the Ho-Hos. You got high quality chocolate available to you at all times. Seriously worth the investment. You don't eat all 30 in one day, but you have a month's supply around. So just in case, if you need a snack and you're looking for something, you got it. Great, Tim. So I'd love a comment from you that tells all of us what you're up to. All right, we got some comments on YouTube here. Victoria Kushner, very helpful. Great, I'm glad. Johnny Chinges, attitude of gratitude for you and all that you share. Well, thank you, Johnny. I so appreciate that. Blessings to you, brother. Alex, what's my religion? I don't have a religion. I grew up Roman Catholic. I don't identify as Roman Catholic. I will go to most religious services, whether it is Catholic, Christian, Jewish. I haven't been invited to an Islamic service. I would totally go. I'm interested in that. If I'm allowed to go. I don't know what the protocol is. I'm interested in, I think most religions share common values of peace and love and wanting to do the right thing and honesty and not stealing and not killing. At least that's what they profess. And so I'm down with most of that. I'm generally not supportive of organized religion for myself, because that's that's just not, that's not how I choose to celebrate. My favorite religious text, by the way, is the Bhagavad Gita, the Hindu holy book. It is amazing. It's like the Bible on steroids. Just any line out of it is just super duper powerful. I would read it nightly for years. It's by my bedside right now. The Bhagavad Gita. It's part of the Mahabharata, which is like a book that's this thick. It's this giant book of stories from the Hindu tradition, and the Bhagavad Gita is like, it's like 90 pages of that. It's the best part of it. It's so good. So that's my answer to that. And I'd like to be respectful and honor all religions and the good things that they contribute. I don't want to bash religion, and I certainly think it has its value, and it's not something that I'm a part of right now. Johnny, get my wife through stage 4 cancer. Goodness, Johnny, that is a big deal. Really feel that one. With tumors in her brain and behind her chest plate. Johnny, that's really a big deal. I wish I could be of help. There is some data to show that high doses of if your wife is on chemotherapy, a couple things I can offer, and please do your own research. Fasting before chemotherapy. Fasting before chemotherapy reduces side effects. Number 2, it makes the chemotherapy more powerful. Here's what happens. So cancer cells are ravenous for sugar. So when you fast, when you don't eat food for 24 hours, your cancer cells can't grow. At least they can't grow as fast as they used to because they don't have sugar. And they become weak. Meanwhile, your healthy cells become strong. Fasting actually strengthens your healthy cells. Very, very cool. And so then imagine you fast for 24 hours. So now your cancer cells are weak and your healthy cells are stronger. Now you take chemotherapy. Chemotherapy is poison. It's poison pumped through your body. And it kills things. Now, your cancer cells are weakened, but your healthier cells are strengthened. So the chemotherapy kills fewer healthier cells and kills more chemo cells. Really cool. And then fast for another 24 hours after the chemotherapy, less likely gets nausea, which is a huge side effect of chemotherapy. And so Johnny, if your wife is able to, fasting 24 hours before chemotherapy treatment and 24 hours after is shown to be helpful in most people. Number 2, high doses of melatonin. By high doses, I mean 30 milligrams, have been helpful with cancer, especially those undergoing chemotherapy. Melatonin decreases as we age, and melatonin helps reduce cancer in our bodies. I take a relatively high dose of melatonin 5 nights a week. I take about 12 milligrams. I don't need that much to sleep. About 3 to 5 milligrams would be plenty to sleep. I take a higher dose with the understanding that this is likely ridding my body of cancer. So I'm betting on taking higher doses and that being helpful. So Johnny, I hope that's helpful. Fasting, by the way, all of you, most people benefit from fasting, both metabolically. It's good. It's good for our metabolism. It's good for our brain health. It's good for autophagy, which is where autophagy is self-eating, autophagy, self-eating. And so our body will go and eat itself and getting rid of the older, weaker mitochondria and older, weaker cells. That's a really good thing. And it can help reduce cancer in the body and weaken cancer as well. And then going keto or fasting helps reduce the spread and growth of cancer. So Johnny, I hope that's helpful to you, brother, and blessings to you. God bless you and your wife. I really hope you get through this. And then I'd love if you would chime in every so often and let us know the progress. And you're in my prayers, Johnny, and I know you're in the thoughts and prayers of a lot of people here right now. We really want the best for you and your wife. Alex, I love how open-minded you are towards religion. Very kind-hearted. Thank you, Alex. I appreciate that. I want to credit my parents for that. My parents have slightly different religions. My mother's Catholic. My dad's Protestant. If this were in Ireland, Northern Ireland, this would be a really big deal. There's a wall. There's a wall in Northern Ireland between Catholics and Protestants. Amazing. If Jesus came and saw a wall and he said, wait, you both believe that I'm the Christ, that I'm the Savior, but you don't want to hang out with each other? You don't want to celebrate with each other? By the way, Mass or church is supposed to be a celebration, right? In Mass, in Catholic Mass, they say the celebration has ended. This is a celebration. It's supposed to be a party with dancing and singing and happiness, right? God wants us to celebrate. If you believe in God or you believe in the universe as a spiritual entity, celebrating God or the universe should be really fun and cool and exciting and a party, right? Go to a native culture. How do they celebrate holidays? With dancing and music and fun and all kinds of good stuff by the fire, right? So it's really a shame that different types of Christians can't hang out together in Northern Ireland. It's really a tragedy. And if Jesus incarnate ever came to talk with them, I think he'd be a little upset and say, look, you got the religion all wrong. It's not about building a wall between Catholics and Protestants. It's about world peace and loving your neighbor. The two things Jesus said, the most important commandments of Jesus, if you know them, go ahead and type them into the chat. The two most important are love thy neighbor and love thy God as thyself, or love thy God with all thy heart, thy soul, and thy mind. I think that's great for any spiritual practice, right? Love your neighbors yourself. Goodness, if we did that, imagine what this world would be like. I definitely fall short on that one. And I can do much better on that. And I'd like to do much better on that. It's a little hard and scary to love my neighbors myself, which means if they want my car or they want my stuff, I gotta give it to them. And then who's my neighbor? Is the homeless person, is that my neighbor? And then what do I give them? Do I give them all my stuff that they ask for? I don't know. But love your neighbor, love other human beings as yourself. I think is a great commandment for anyone of any spiritual practice. All right, Laura Schnell on Facebook. Is nicotine safe to take whilst on Ritalin? So first, I'm not giving you medical advice. Second, I don't recommend nicotine for anyone under the age of 18 or 21. Next, I've talked to people, or people have commented on videos saying that they've reduced their ADHD medication by taking nicotine. That is significant. Most ADHD medication is a hardcore drug, like Ritalin, like Adderall, like Vyvanse. I know, I've taken most of them. I've taken all three of those. I've also taken Wellbutrin. Those drugs are hardcore drugs. They're Schedule II narcotics. I've known people that have been thrown in prison for just possessing them. They are hardcore drugs. Now, nicotine, is that a hardcore drug? I don't know. It's definitely very addictive in the form of cigarettes, but a nicotine lozenge, I think that's pretty safe. And if I can substitute out some amphetamine for some nicotine, I think that's a pretty healthy trade. Of course, do what's best for you. And so is nicotine safe to take with Ritalin? Generally speaking, yes, it will likely amplify the impact of Ritalin, just like coffee will. Coffee increases the sensitivity and efficiency of dopamine receptors. So have you ever seen someone drink a cup of coffee with a cigarette? They're both really powerful nicotine called agonists. They increase the activity of dopamine. Excuse me, they're dopamine agonists. And so coffee plus cigarette, really powerful dopamine experience. So nicotine and Ritalin, very, very powerful dopamine experience. So if you mix those two together, expect an intense experience that could be really positive, but just be ready for it. And nicotine's shorter acting than Ritalin. So you can just, I just suck on a nicotine lozenge just for a little bit. And that, and then I take it out once I get the benefit, and then I work for an hour or two, and then I might suck it a little bit later. So that can be really helpful. So I don't recommend, please don't start smoking, first of all. And please don't start vaping. If you smoke or vape, please quit them. And nicotine lozenges are my preferred method of getting nicotine, and I've been able to reduce the amount of Adderall I take when taking nicotine. And I think that's safer. I think it's better for my heart. I think it's better for my brain, and I like having that flexibility. And Laura says, I'm 28 years old. I wanted to try nicotine lozenges, but didn't want to take an unsafe risk. I think they're generally pretty safe. I mean, I think Ritalin is much more dangerous than nicotine lozenges. Probably not more dangerous than cigarettes, but more dangerous than nicotine lozenges. Do you recommend any physiological books to better the mind? Great question, Alex. Let me think about that. Low power mode on my phone. Okay, so I'm gonna have to wrap it up soon. Is it 11? It's 11:01. All right, time for my blue blockers here. So I want to get really good sleep tonight. I got a big weekend coming up. I'm trying to publish a couple papers, and so, or at least submit papers for publication. These are blue blocker glasses. These reduce blue light, which helps protect my natural melatonin, which can help me go to sleep earlier. I'd like to be in bed in an hour. We'll see if that happens. I get so excited spending time with you all. I'm usually like amped up after a live. And so we'll see if this helps. So Maureen says, I worked out 6 days a week, 2 hours at a time, and it paid off. Roar to you, Maureen. You rock. Jessica, thank you for putting your name in. Jessica, find more natural medicine for my 9-year-old son. Heart disease, information overload. I am really sorry, Jessica, that your 9-year-old son has heart disease. That sounds really challenging. I am not an expert in pediatrics at all. I know I know more than the average person because I'm just into health and wellness. I know nothing about pediatric heart disease. I'm really very sorry. I would recommend researching the optimal diet for pediatric heart disease. My hunch is low carb, but I don't know that. I think carbohydrates, generally speaking, are very dangerous for the heart because carbohydrates increase insulin and glucose, and they promote the storage of fat, and then over time promote the accumulation of cholesterol and therefore high blood pressure and therefore increased risk of heart disease. If your son has congestive heart failure, I don't know what causes that. I mean, genes cause it, but I don't know what's behind that or how to help. So blessings to you and your son. I really hope you can um, make some progress here. You can't see this. I'm tearing up a little bit. I can only imagine how difficult this is for you. I recently learned a family friend, family friend uh, of my family. They had a very difficult childbirth. They gave birth to twins, and they were premature, and they were in the ICU, and then the mother was bleeding, and the mother she had to get a hysterectomy, and then she almost died. Really, really difficult and difficult on my family hearing about this. And so I really I have gratitude for all the safe births and deliveries, mothers and fathers, but mothers in particular. You know how dangerous childbearing is. In the past, before modern medicine, 50% of childbirths ended in the death of the mother or the child or both. That's how dangerous childbirth was. That was the risk women took in life. Men took the risk of being a man and going hunting and fighting in wars. And the risk women faced was childbirth. Childbirth is very, very dangerous, still is today. And so I have compassion for mothers that are having challenges with children. It sounds really serious. I'm really sorry. And I'm really grateful that, for all the healthy children and all the healthy childbirths. Yeah, I'm sorry. I learned about this today, and I feel a gratitude that I was born healthy, that my mother's healthy, that my sister has had good childbirths, and my cousin almost died in childbirth. I didn't know this till years later. She said, "Robert, I never told you this, but I was bleeding after my first birth. I almost died." And so it's very, very dangerous stuff. So if you or someone you love has narrowly escaped, death or serious injury from childbirth, blessings to you. I'm glad you made it out. Just scrolling through some comments here. Jessica, he had a heart attack due to Kawasaki disease. I don't know anything about Kawasaki disease. I had a question about inulin. Inulin is a prebiotic. Prebiotic is something that your healthy bacteria, your probiotics, eat. And so prebiotics feed your healthy probiotics. That's a really good idea. Another type of prebiotic is polyphenols. Polyphenols feed your healthy gut bacteria. And then another form is acacia powder. I put acacia powder in smoothies, sometimes coffee and matcha. I got that from Dave Asprey, and that helps feed healthy gut bacteria. So inulin is good. I've taken too much of that multiple times and had serious stomach aches, almost disaster pants, but I had terrible stomach cramps. If you take too much of it, bad idea. Same thing with xylitol. Too much xylitol can cause major stomach cramps. So be careful with those prebiotics, inulin and xylitol. Xylitol is also a prebiotic. Acacia powder is much safer. For some reason, it does not cause stomach cramping like the other ones. And so I add about 3 tablespoons of that in a smoothie or in coffee, and that's really beneficial. Okay. We got Javier on YouTube. Javier, what do you think of sleep apnea? I think it's very dangerous, and it's really unfortunate. A lot of people have it. Sleep apnea and snoring are 2 major health risks that a lot of people are at risk for, especially most people who are overweight are at increased risk for sleep apnea and snoring. So one of the best things you can do to reduce your risk of sleep apnea or to stop sleep apnea is to lose weight. It's a great thing to do. Another thing you can do for snoring in particular, but also sleep apnea, is tape your mouth shut. Put a piece of medical tape or scotch tape over your mouth, over your lips. I do this. I've been doing it for over a year. It has greatly improved my sleep. I just breathe through my nose when I sleep because my mouth is taped shut. That's cool. And there are also some benefits to my throat. I don't wake up with a sore throat anymore, which is really good because I'm not breathing through my mouth, and that can dry out my throat. So all kinds of benefits of taping your mouth. Andrew Huberman, one of my favorite neuroscientists, he recently talked about the benefits of taping your mouth. That could be helpful for both sleep apnea and snoring. So I think those are really important things to address. Laura Snell from YouTube, how detrimental is alcohol to the brain, especially for those with dopamine deficiencies? Great question. So Andrew Huberman did a whole podcast. He did 2 hours on the detriment of alcohol to the brain. I listened to it on my way to Burning Man this year. Here's the summary. Number one, alcohol, even moderate alcohol, 1 to 2 drinks a day, it's shown to be helpful for heart disease, but it is damaging to the brain and to the body. Here are the things. Number one, it reduces activity in the frontal cortex. This is your executive function, executive decision making. This is like your self-awareness. Notice how when you drink alcohol, your tongue gets untied and you say things that might be silly, you become less self-conscious. Well, you actually become less self-conscious, you become less conscious of yourself. And so you're less able to stop yourself from saying or doing certain things. And then if you drink on a regular basis, you're training your brain to turn off that self-awareness, that self-consciousness. That's a problem. I don't think you want to do that. So drinking on a regular basis, even 1 to 2 drinks a night, can cause that. Number two, alcohol is bad for your gut bacteria. So that's not good. Number three, alcohol impairs the connection between your gut and your brain. So that's not good. Number four, alcohol causes inflammation in the body. Number five, just side note, alcohol can go anywhere in the body. It's both hydrophilic and hydrophobic. Said another way, it's water soluble and fat soluble. It can cross the blood-brain barrier. It can go anywhere. So it can cause damage anywhere in the body and the brain. And alcohol also, as you know, can impair liver function. So all these negatives of alcohol. Now, do you need to give up alcohol completely? No, you can do whatever you'd like. Is it a good idea? Potentially. I have basically given up alcohol so much so that the other night I was having dinner with my parents. They were drinking a really nice Pinot Noir, and I wanted some to taste. And so I was doing like the drinking, the spitting out. I absorbed enough in my mouth to experience a lack of cognition. I could feel my brain get slower, and I was less able to work that night. And I was actually frustrated. I said, Mother, I'm kind of upset because now I can't do work at night because I had a wine tasting. And that's annoying to me because I want to work at night. I love my work, and I want those 1 to 2 hours after dinner where I get stuff done. And so for me, it was not worth the trade-off of drinking with dinner and then not being able to work after dinner. And so it's not worth that trade-off to me. So do whatever you'd like. And there are benefits of alcohol. It's enjoyable, it tastes good, it's fun. Large studies show that it's helpful to the heart. How helpful it is to the heart, I don't know. And I found I perform much better day to day not drinking. Alcohol is very expensive to me in that the next day I'm much slower. And that's a big sacrifice for me. I'm not willing to trade a day of productivity and feeling good and good energy for several hours of fun. That's not a trade I'm willing to make anymore. Same thing with food. I used to eat sugar a lot, and I used to eat gluten. A couple of years ago, actually it was a year ago, I ate a cookie with gluten and sugar. The next day I had a canker sore. My body was telling me, hey, don't do that. We're giving you this canker sore to tell you put something in your mouth that we don't like. And so it's not worth it to me to feel bad the next day if I eat a bunch of sugar or if I eat gluten. It's not worth that trade-off to me. Let's see here. We got a couple more questions on where did the alcohol question go? There it is from Laura Schnell, Javier. We know about sleep apnea. I talked about that. Physiological books to improve the mind. One of my favorite books recently has been Tony Robbins' book, Life Force. Let me get this. This book is awesome. So I'm going to give you two books. These are really great. This is Tony Robbins' Life Force. You can get this basically for free. You pay $10 shipping. This is the cutting edge books on science, neuroscience, brain health, longevity, anti-aging, all kinds of cool stuff. Talks about Parkinson's disease. This is where I learned about the focused ultrasound. This book is great, lifeforce.com. I recently got the supplement he recommends. It's rather expensive. I'm trying it out. We'll see how it goes. This is a cool book. I put tabs in my books and underline so I can find stuff. This is a really cool book. It is 100 Simple Things You Can Do to Prevent Alzheimer's and Age-Related Memory Loss by Jean Carper. Jean Carper is a journalist. She's a great writer. A lot of great research in this book. This is really interesting. There's all kinds of healthy tips in here and research behind it. So just keeping reliable scientific information is helpful in preventing Alzheimer's disease. Keep mentally active. Use it or lose it. Go nuts over nuts. A handful of almonds or walnuts may fend off Alzheimer's disease. Those are just 3 things in here. And then this, I got this recently. This is really cool. This is just a daily quote sheet, not quote something, quote sheet. So here's a quote from Winston Churchill. Continuous effort, not strength or intelligence, is the key to unlocking our potential. That's a perfect quote to end with this evening. So we talked about so we started this live with the idea of pilgrimage, of purpose. People who have a purpose in life have a decreased risk of Alzheimer's disease because they wake up with energy and enthusiasm and a purpose. I'm waking up today because I want to save horses, or I want to run my animal rescue shelter, or I'm going on a walk today so I can run soon so I can be in good shape to watch my son get married and be around for their children. Those are amazing ideas. Those are big goals, or maybe you want to travel somewhere. So the idea of pilgrimage and life purpose. Now, how do you get there? So we talked about some shortcuts on how to prevent Alzheimer's disease, some supplements, curcumin, Ceylon cinnamon, bacopa, huperzine, aniracetam, and lion's mane. Exercise. These things are helpful. Exercise is not a shortcut. Exercise is a daily thing that's helpful. Sleep is really important. And really, how do you get there? How do you get to your long-term goal? How do you get to your long-term purpose? It's persistence. So as Winston Churchill says, continuous effort, not strength or intelligence, is the key to unlocking our potential. So continuous effort is the key to you fulfilling your life purpose, achieving that next goal, achieving that big long-term goal, doing the things that you want to do most in life. And I think this is one of the reasons why I love getting together with you on weekday nights, because I love the persistence. I love how people are showing up every weekday night and contributing to the conversation and sharing their wins, talking about eating more sardines, giving up sugar, going for a walk in the morning, getting better sleep, all these wonderful things you're doing. I really get inspired by all the wonderful things you're doing. Who was it? Was it Victoria who shared that she's lost 65 pounds? That's amazing. I mean, God bless you. This is so wonderful. And so it's the persistence. It's not persistently coming to the Lion's Den, though I hope this is helpful to you. I hope this is fun and enjoyable and interesting and informational, educational, and motivational. I hope it's all those things, but it's you consistently doing the things that are most important for your health, your brain health, and then, your long-term goals, whatever those are. And so please, 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 if you wrote something down, please take action moving you towards that big goal that you're moving to staying healthy, to watch your children get married, to be around to watch your grandchildren get born. That's amazing. To help your wife get through stage 4 cancer. Goodness, all these big goals that you're working on. This is really, really important stuff. So write down some action you can take today or take tomorrow and do it this week. Be persistent, and then please come tomorrow or the next day. Let me know what progress you're taking. I really want to be here to support you, and I'm truly honored just to be here with you and spend this time with you. God bless you. I love you. Prayers going out to all those who are suffering with health challenges, with family with health challenges, undergoing cancer, difficulty, and with your children. Just, I love you so much, and I'm really praying for you. And I'm just going to scroll down to the bottom. I just want to see some of the beautiful things y'all are saying. I really appreciate it. Thank you, Karina. I'm so glad, Sally. Thank you, Lucky. The tree of patience is bitter, but its fruit is sweet. Chinese proverb. Thank you. Roar Phoenix. Myers Blue, you can do it. Thank you, Dawn. Yes, Gemma, I do read the comments. Persistence, yes. Thank you, Blessed Reveals. Thank you, Myers Blue. Yes, the Dale Bredesen protocol is great. Thank you for mentioning that, Gemma. If you or someone you love has Alzheimer's or early stage Alzheimer's or even late stage Alzheimer's, check out the Dale Bredesen protocol. The book is The End of Alzheimer's, or The End of Alzheimer's program. That can help slow down or stop the dementia. Really good. On YouTube, Victoria, you're crushing it. Keep it up. Really, you're doing great. We don't know about the risk of cancer with NMN. We're still discovering that. I'm going to scroll to the bottom here. Y'all been saying such beautiful things. I love reading these before I go off to bed. I feel like I've lived a really good day reading all these wonderful things. Thank you, Sherry. And I appreciate y'all commenting to each other and helping each other out. Seriously. Soul Build and Pauline and whatever y'all are doing, thank you. Thank you, Lucky. Thank you, Myers Blue. Yes, hyperbaric oxygen therapy is great. Thank you, Jeannie. Saunas are great, Phoenix. I was just talking to my dad. I'm trying to get him to get a sauna. Thank you, Phoenix. Thank you, Rhonda. Thank you, Don. Thank you, Sherry. Thank you, Pauline. Thank you, Javier. Thank you, Victoria. Thank you, Alex. God bless you. I love you. Have a good night's sleep. I will see you tomorrow.